Welcome, everybody, to the NoSleep Podcast live stream number 12. Yes, that's right. A dozen live streams. And thank you for joining us. Whether you're live here with us now or watching afterwards, we are glad you're spending some time with the NoSleep Podcast. It is the solstice. It is will be summer very soon. So I guess with summer starting, we've got to get out of here before Jessica McAvoy shows up, because she plays Summer in some of our stories. But enough of my hilarious humor. I want to welcome back to the live stream. We missed him last time, but would you welcome our maestro from Cincinnati, Ohio, Mr. Brandon Boone. Hello, Brandon.
That summer joke just about did me in.
I know, the sides still hurt from laughing. How are you, Brandon?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Good. Now, today is not just the summer solstice, but there's also another special day for you. What would that be?
Today's actually my 11-year anniversary with my wife, and that's why I'm here. She said, I want to celebrate with a break from you. So that's why I'm here.
You said, my dearest love, my bride, my terrible boss is making me work today. And...
Oh, not at all. They're just up there watching a movie.
Ah, nice. And you got some ribs on the grill, smoking out there. That's the life. That is the life. Well, congratulations on 11 years.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
We should have... I was trying to figure out a way you could have had your 12th anniversary for the 12th live stream, but just didn't work out that way.
Should have just met her a year earlier, I guess.
Exactly. Wonderful. Well, welcome. And who else do we have with us? We have, let's go from Cincinnati all the way over to the left coast, from Los Angeles, California, the inimitable Erin Lillis. Hello, Erin. Come on board, as it were.
Can you see me?
We can.
Good, I didn't break it.
With your Kermit the Frog microphone there.
Yes. Hello. No,
how are you, Erin?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well.
I know how you are. I don't know why I asked.
Things are still happening in LA. You guys, are you in phase 2 yet? Is everyone's talking about phases?
Well, we're in like a slow phase and phase 2. Think about it situation.
Right. I never forget a phase. But seriously, well, let's hope that we can all stay safe as different phases open up and stuff like that.
Yeah, wear a mask, please.
Indeed, yes. Wear a mask. Let's bounce back to the East Coast of the Untied States of America, to New Jersey, where we welcome in Mr. Graham Rowat. Hello, Graham.
Hello, friends.
Mr. Rowat, wonderful to see you again.
I just learned that we have reached 100 days of self-isolation.
Oh, wow.
So that's a milestone. But I'm getting a haircut this week, so.
Ooh. I've heard there's my beautiful girlfriend Kelly lives in New Jersey as well, and her hair stylist person is opening up at the end of the month. So yeah,
mine's on Monday.
It's more about my son too, because I see him and I look at him and I'm like, man, you need a haircut. And he's 9, so he doesn't care, but he's doing stuff with his hair all the time. This is weird. And so he's going to get a haircut, and he's instantly going to look like he's 15. So,
yes. Yeah, I need to get my hair cut. Not quite happening.
Which ones?
Well, thank you for being here as always, Graham. Wonderful. Let's. I like this back and forth we're doing, bouncing across America here. We're going to swing over to Texas, Amarillo, Texas. I think Amarillo. Yeah, that's how you say it. I want to say armadillo for some reason. The wonderful, lovely Sarah Thomas is joining us. Hello, Sarah.
We accept armadillo as well.
The Texas speed bump, I hear.
For the most part, it's quite tragic.
Armadillo. Wonderful. How are you, Sarah?
I'm doing as fine as I can right now.
That's about all we can say, isn't it? Well, this is wonderful. Now, the story we're doing for you tonight is set in Great Britain, and so we've got.
What are we doing here?
We've got all our British actors here, and we've decided to just rough it and invite
torture their ears.
Oh boy!
Right.
Both coasts and Texas. This is great.
Exactly. So we are going to invite in a gentleman who does a wonderfully authentic British accent. He's from Ripon, England, Mr. David Ault. Hello, David.
Yeah, I'm all right, Bab.
I'm all right, Bob. I had to say that in
Yeah.
Birmingham.
Oh, that was good. You got applause for that.
Yes,
No, you didn't
yes.
actually. I got the applause for it when I did it properly.
Is that near Ormskirk?
That's the one. Yes. So happy solstice, everyone!
Yes, happy
Yes,
solstice.
indeed.
Hooray!
You're
Yes.
not. You haven't taken the drive to Stonehenge, I see.
I did that last year and saw the sunrise over Stonehenge, but unfortunately everything is closed off, as you can expect. But you can see everything live stream from Stonehenge. That will be happening from about half an hour before the sunrise. It's half an hour before sunset and half an hour before sunrise tomorrow morning. So that'll be from about 4 o'clock in the morning.
What are they sacrificing this year?
There's so many things that I would love to say, but I'm told not to get political.
Just the regular complement of oxen and cows.
The hopes and
cattle.
dreams of
Hopes
young
and dreams.
people.
I don't want to hear anyone slagging Mr. D. Cummings over in England. I know that.
We've been there. We've done that.
Whoopsie.
Yes, I did want to mute that particular name, but unfortunately, I realised that would cut out a lot of the no sleep tweets. So, yes,
Trending
Lovely.
in all the wrong places.
I know.
Well, welcome, David. Thank you, as always.
Thank you very much.
And rounding out the cast, we have our first timer joining us, a wonderful actor who was a big part of our UK, or actually our European tour. He joined us on the European leg of our tour. A gifted actor, and who also just happens to live in England. Would you welcome Mr. Andy Cresswell? Hello, Andy.
Hello there. Hello, everyone. Hi. Lovely to be here.
Indeed, wonderful.
Yeah. Just thinking about the old hairdressing situation where so many are closed. I just booked my dog in to be groomed. So if anyone's, if anyone wants a haircut, just bark a bit and phone up local dog groomers. You'll be sorted.
That's good advice. Yeah.
Little tip.
Yeah.
I still just remember Brandon getting me up against the wall in the bathroom in LA that one time.
Hey.
And we're talking about haircuts, right?
Yes.
Of course.
Wow.
Right.
Oh, the days when I used to
Ooh.
shave David's head for him.
Yep.
Nice.
Lovely. Well, thank you, Andy, for being here. Now, we, for those of you who don't know, Andy has a wife who happens to be Penny Scott Andrews. And Penny was a part of the UK leg of our tour. And so we were kind of hoping that they could both be on the stream. But I guess with the kids, you got to have somebody, you got to have the warden with the prisoners, right?
Someone needs to watch them. Yeah.
Right.
You
I
never
thought
know
you were
what
going to
they
say,
get up
but he had just booked that appointment with her at the groomer.
to.
she's off getting her hair done. So
Yeah, I like it.
Did she take your first name as her last name?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that never
I'd
occurred to
never
me.
thought
Yeah, there is part of me there.
That's great.
indeed. Well, so we miss Penny, but we're grateful that you're here, Andy. Thank you for joining us, and we'll
Thank
have
you.
Penny on a live stream very soon. Very soon.
Lovely. She'll love that.
Indeed. Well, as I mentioned, our story this week is an old one. This one was broadcast on the BBC originally, get this, back in 1925. So this is a story that's almost 100 years old on the radio as opposed to a written tale. And just for our North American viewers or our younger viewers, there's a part at the beginning of the story where it takes place that these people are in sort of a rented cottage or an estate, and there's electricity for the lights, but it's a very different form of electricity where they literally have to put money in the meter to get electricity. And I've asked our fellow scientist, Mr. David Ault, to help us understand what this is all about.
Well, it is as simple as a parking meter, for instance, where you put in your coin and you get a certain amount of time on your parking meter. It would be a similar thing. You would put a shilling in the meter, and that would give you a certain amount of electricity that you could then use as you will. So it's basically as simple as that. You put your coin in the meter, you get your electric.
Right. And back in 1925, a shilling, of course you guys don't have shillings these days, but what, do you have a rough idea? Like, is that sort of equivalent to like a dollar or 50 cents or?
I think in the 20s it would still be a reasonably decent amount of money. Because you would have, what do you reckon, Andy?
Wasn't it? I know a shilling was kind of, wasn't it 5 pence?
A shilling was
translated
12
to, but of course back
but
then.
Yeah, then,
was it 12
yes.
pence?
Yeah, it was 12. Shilling was 12 pence because you get oh no, hang on. Because it was one of those really strange systems where you had 12 pence to the shilling and then 20 shillings to the pound, which of course makes sense.
Of course makes sense.
Half a crown was 2 shillings and 6pence. A crown was 5 shillings. It was, yeah.
You following this?
Everyone's taking notes.
Right.
Get on the train at 12 o'clock.
Yes.
All I know is I'm not 6 pence. I'm 6 pence, none the richer. That's all I know.
Indeed, yes. And someone's just asked, what's a farthing? A farthing was a quarter of a penny.
Or a bike.
Or a bike.
Or a penny farthing, yes, that's right. Well, there you go. So there's a bit of a history lesson and British currency and
of course, in terms of the way that I would come on stage and do and start my on tour, I would go, this is the BBC Home Service, which of course this would have been on. The Home Service was a thing until the 1960s, and then it became Radio 4. So there you go.
So we're presenting a bit of history tonight, folks. So why don't we kick it off? And there's no author of this tale, but as I said, this takes place in the card room of a British country house, and the family have gathered for a game of bridge, card game of bridge. Back in the days, no apps for this one, actual playing cards. And so, let's begin with the tale entitled "The Dweller in the Darkness."
Is it my call?
You dealt, so I suppose we can't very well prevent you. What the dickens?
The lights again. Oh, Mother, why did we take this house?
Because you and your father went mad over the view and never gave a moment's thought to the arrangements inside.
Well, but fancy anyone being so half-witted as to have a shilling in the slot meter for the electric light in a huge place like this? One really couldn't be expected to foresee that.
I expect the fellow that did it had got tired of selling his investments to pay the quarterly electric light bill.
Well, I hope when he was reading, he enjoyed the lights suddenly vanishing in the middle of a sentence.
Giving the additional charm of obscurity to the literature of his choice.
Oh, shut up, Henry.
Phyllis, it's no good turning round on Henry and Mr. Mortimer. You'd better go and put a shilling in the slot. Let us get on with the game. The servants are evidently doing nothing.
Don't suppose they know where the wretched things are. There's one on each floor. Give me a shilling, someone.
Here you are.
Have one of mine as well. Make sure of enough light to finish the rubber.
You keep any little mental efforts you're capable of for following suit and returning my leads, Henry. You'll save your shilling then, and a good bit more besides.
She won't believe what I made it. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Oh, it doesn't matter a bit.
After all, one mustn't look a gift house in the meter.
I thought you took it furnished.
Well, yes, but the rent's so low that it's almost a gift. The owner's a friend of my husband's.
Don't, Mortimer.
Don't what, old boy?
Well, you touched my cards, didn't you?
No.
Oh, sorry. Thought you did. What a rum thing darkness is. Ah, the light. That's better.
One gets fanciful in the dark. I almost thought well, never mind.
There we are. Now, Henry, we're after their money, remember? It's your call, Mother.
No bid. I've not held a card this evening.
Oh, nothing like telling your partner all about your hand. 1 diamond?
Ugh. No. Why one plays this game, I can't think.
2 no trumps.
There she is again. It's the rubber game, partner. No.
All right, 3 no trumps.
Oh, I say, really? Why not put them on the table and be done with it? No, I can't do anything.
I'll put them on the table if you'd like. There, put yours down too, Henry. I'll play it from the table.
Oh, they get a grand slam. They can't help it. Look, every face card in the pack. Oh.
Surely I make my ace of spades.
You might if you had it, mother dear.
What do you mean, if I had it? Of course I've got... Well, that's very strange.
It'd be very much stranger if you had it, Mummy darling, seeing that Henry's just put it down with his hand.
Where?
Here you are, Mum. Spot the lady. Or should I rather say, in these circumstances, observe the ace piece.
Look, Mummy.
It's all very well for your children to get above yourselves, but I distinctly saw the ace of spades in my hand just before the light went out.
Really?
I expect there's a ghostie behind your chair, Mother.
Phyllis, have you and Henry been up to some mischievous prank?
No, really, Mrs. Viner.
Henry, just count your cards, will you?
Yeah, of course. 1, 2, 3.
You've got 14, old boy.
Hush. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. By George, I have, though.
Mummy, you dealt. Didn't you notice whether the cards ended wrong?
Yes, they didn't. They came round to me. Henry, did you take one of my cards for a lark where the lights went out?
No, Mrs. Viner, of course I didn't.
Because, as a matter of fact, I felt a tiny tug, but I thought it was imagination.
Ah, so it was. Miss Deal. Now, whose turn is it?
Do you mind if we don't play anymore?
Not a bit. Only it leaves the rubber unfinished.
It doesn't matter.
Why? What's up, Henry?
Well, since you begun talking about tugs, I thought I felt someone leaning over me when it was dark. Honestly. And then I thought Mortimer touched my cards, and I don't remember the ace in my hand when I first sorted it.
Ghosts, Henry, eh, what? That's better fun than bridge.
Oh, thanks so much. We live here, remember?
But my dear Miss Viner, you don't believe rot like that, do you?
Well, I don't know. What's that? Oh, Father, come in. You gave me such a fright.
Oh, nonsense, Phyllis. How could your father give anyone a fright?
Oh.
I've certainly never succeeded in doing so to you, my dear. Urquhart is here. Come in, Urquhart. Well, finished your game?
We haven't finished, as a matter of fact. We've given up playing.
Tired?
No, Henry felt spooky.
Felt spooky? That's curious, Urquhart, isn't it?
Very.
Why is it curious?
Because of the ghost.
Ghost, Father? What ghost? Is the house haunted?
Only by rats, I should think. But there's a legend about this room.
This room?
This very room. It's only a legend, you know. The man who lived here in the days of the Regency is the ghost. He was caught cheating at cards. There was a dreadful scandal.
And when his friends had one by one cast him off and stalked out of the room, he shot himself in an agony of remorse, and now returns punctually every Friday to maunder over the scene of his tragedy and expiate his offense. I know, the usual story. The house agents make 'em up in hundreds.
Oh dear, no. It's nothing so simple as that. He was a very alarming customer, immensely powerful, over 6 feet tall with a curious round-shouldered stooping walk, if you can imagine such a thing on a 6-foot man. He had a very wicked reputation in the neighborhood. Used to go about armed with some horrible thing like a knuckle duster. He'd hit out with it at the slightest provocation.
What's that to do with cheating at cards?
I'm coming to that. He had uncanny luck at gambling. and used to give parties regularly, here in this room. I dare say at that very table. It looks old enough.
Oh, thanks awfully.
Oh, it's nothing to worry about now, Phyllis. One night, a comparative stranger was playing, someone who didn't perhaps realize his host's reputation and was unwise enough to query the fairness of the play. The host took one leap at him and hit him in the face with the knuckle duster. You can imagine the effect. It plowed up the man's features as though they'd been peeled off, wiped out, obliterated. It killed him.
And then he killed himself?
No. Fell down dead. Apoplectic seizure.
How do you know all this about a furnished house?
Oh, there's a book about it in the library. A picture of the man, too.
Oh, I bet it was all faked up and put there by the house agents to catch romantic tenants who enjoy living with legends of that kind. What? Fellow dies in a drunken brawl and then spends the following century hovering about in a drafty card room?
Oh, sorry you feel the draft, Mr. Mortimer.
Oh, I beg your pardon. That was only thrown in as a figure of speech. But really, one can't swallow that. I mean, a century's such a long time, isn't it? What do you think, Professor Urquhart? You're a scientist.
I'm only a scientist because I refuse to form opinions without facts to go upon. I don't think anything, Mr. Mortimer.
Still, it was funny tonight, changing the cards, I mean.
I tell you, it was a misdeal. Wasn't it, Professor?
I should always accept a natural explanation in preference to the supernatural.
Well, I've told you what I felt.
Oh, you felt something then?
I thought so, yes. I thought someone leaned over and touched my cards when the lights went out.
Lights? When did the lights go out?
Only on this floor, Daddy. The wretched slot meter again.
Well, that's what I thought, anyhow.
It's most interesting. We could test it, if you like, fairly simply.
Test it?
And not, of course, whether you felt a ghost or not, but whether what the psychics call the operating entities are present in this room, the forces that cause manifestations.
Forces? What forces?
I wish I knew. Some people sort of undetermined animal magnetism. Some think actually discarnate human beings.
Discarnate human beings? Ghosts, in fact.
Oh, I suppose they might be called ghosts, but very harmless and practical-minded ghosts that juggle with tea tables and ring bells, and in some circumstances talk through trumpets.
Instead of talking through their hats, like a great many people who believe in them.
Quite true.
You don't sound a very convinced believer in these forces, Mr. Urquhart.
Believer is too strong a word, but I think there's a case for investigation.
Well, let's investigate.
By all means, if Mrs. Viner has no objection.
None at all. It thrills me.
But how? What are we to do?
It's perfectly simple, provided one of you has mediumistic power.
But how can we tell that?
Most people have a certain latent potentiality. We shall know by our results whether we've a real medium amongst us.
Or a real humbug.
No, Mr. Mortimer, you're not to spoil it.
All right, let's try.
Bring up chairs round the table. Mr. Mortimer, go between the two ladies, will you? They mustn't sit side by side.
I thought this was a séance, not a tea party. All right, I'll do it.
Now, we must relax our minds. No tension, just empty them as much as possible.
That fortunately doesn't take much effort in Henry's case.
Don't be flippant.
Oh.
Mr. Mortimer may be as unconvinced as he likes, but we must none of us be flippant.
I am the soul of gravity.
Well, hands on the table, little fingers touching. Yes? Switch off the light, someone.
I thought so. Only happens in the dark.
Well, but after all, that's the main reason why we know so little. The forces can't work in daylight. It deadens them.
Or exposes them.
Perhaps, though the spectrum contains many equally curious qualities. And it's a strange thing that from time immemorial there should have been a tradition of the powers of darkness. Now, is everyone allowing his or her mind to be at complete peace? There is mediumistic power.
How do you know?
Because of the chill on our fingers, like a cold wind. Can't you feel it?
Yes, I can.
I mustn't talk about the draft again, I suppose, but there's a gale blowing under the door, enough to freeze a man.
Quiet, Mr. Mortimer. Give it a chance.
Sorry.
No!
What is it?
There's a cobweb on my face! Oh, it won't go away!
No? Well, we'll leave it alone. That's one of the regular symptoms. Yes, the influence is growing. One of us is a powerful medium.
Mother? Mother?
She's asleep, I think.
Then don't disturb her, whatever you do. She must be the medium.
It's all right, I suppose, Urquhart?
Perfectly.
Oh, don't be an ass, Henry.
What do you mean?
You tilted the table. Don't.
I didn't tilt the table. I will, though. That's curious.
What's curious, Henry?
I can't move. Look, I'm trying as hard as I can.
How can I look in the dark?
Yes, but please, both of you don't interfere with the seance. We may get something really out of the way.
What makes it rock like this?
Well, unless someone is cheating, a psychic force.
Unless...
Yes, that's what I said.
It's a remarkable thing that these things never happen except when there's a loophole to fraud.
Well, let's try to reduce the possibility of fraud then. We'll go a step further. All take your hands off the table and join hands in a ring. Have you done that?
Yes.
Good. Is anyone there?
Henry, don't play the ass.
I'm not, you fool.
Hush! If there is a message, will you rap again?
Sorry if you've been terribled. Oh. Is that supposed to be a sign?
Really, Mr. Mortimer, you are most unwise. It irritates them.
Them?
The unseen, the dwellers in the dark.
Why do you assume the plural?
Them or him, if there's only one. Usually there are more than one, but Mr. Mortimer makes it very difficult.
I am sorry. Go on.
There's very little use in going on. They won't say anything now. Wait, though. Perhaps we'll get something. Does that mean a message? How are we to read it? The alphabet? Very well. From whom is the message? H A R D. Hard. Does that mean difficult? Oh no, hang on. E-N. Harden. Is that a name? It is. Go on then. Continue. B. Y. Harden by.
No, it's not that.
Hush. Wait, is it Hardenby? Right, what Hardenby? J. O. H-N. John. John Hardenby. Is that it?
John Hardenby. But that's the name of the man who cheated at cards.
Well, yes, but Urquhart knew that, and so did you. And I do dare say that Henry and Phyllis, too. It's in the book in the library.
Mortimer, old boy, you oughtn't to suggest it was spoofing. I'm not, and I'm quite sure the others aren't.
Well, then, let's say that the habit of cheating appears to cling to Mr. Hardenby.
Really shouldn't say a thing like that. These manifestations are believed to materialize through the medium in the form of physical substance. There are ungovernable forces unloosed. I do beg you not to provoke the unseen.
Oh, what absolute rot! I notice the manifestations take jolly good care to only show themselves under a pair of stout boots.
That's not under anyone's boots.
Oh, that is the wind blowing down a picture.
Well, let's call it the wind, but please do refrain from calculated offense.
Please, Mr. Mortimer, don't be foolhardy.
To please you, Miss Viner, anything. Carry on, Professor Urquhart.
Well, I'm not sure that we haven't driven them or him away. Noise distracts them so. We can only wait quite still for a few minutes until there is a manifestation.
Manifestation? Do you mean until something shows itself?
I don't necessarily mean a materialization. That happens only very rarely when the dwellers in the darkness have something overmastering to achieve. There have been apparitions, of course, but we mustn't expect one tonight after all the interruptions. Unless...
Well, unless what?
Unless they, or he, had some special purpose to serve.
Such, for example, as...
Such, for example, as taking away doubt, Mr. Mortimer.
Punishing folly.
Who said that?
Miss Viner.
Are you awake, Mother? Mother, is she still asleep?
Apparently.
Then how can she speak? It didn't sound like her voice either.
It didn't sound like anyone else's, and so by elimination...
Quiet, Mortimer, you promised.
But it was her voice, Mr. Urquhart.
The sounds were made by her vocal cords, but whether she was using them...
Oh.
Yes,
You mean...
Look here, I don't know what you others think, but I believe there's something in the room.
Don't, Henry. That frightens me.
Whatever you do, control your fear. You must never let the unseen catch you afraid.
There is something over there by the window. Behind, look!
It's the sofa, of course.
It's not the sofa. It's some horrible, rounded thing. It's like a hunched man. It's blocking up all the lower part of the window. I'm frightened.
Miss Viner, you mustn't. You really mustn't. You put yourself in their power if you show fear.
But I can't help it. I'm afraid. It's moving. It's coming this way. It's coming at me.
Someone turn the lights up quickly. The light is infallible in restoring control.
Go on, Henry. Turn them on.
I can't. The switch won't work.
Won't work? But I'll come.
Mr. Urquhart, there's something standing just beside me. Oh, God, I've touched it.
Here, let me do that light. Don't play the ass anymore, Henry. Get out of the way.
I'm not in the way.
Oh, well, then get out of the way, you, whatever you are. You in front of me. Oh, get out of the way. Get out of that way. I'll lay you out if you play the fool. All right, it's your own doing. Take that.
What's going on?
What's happening?
What's
going on?
What's the matter?
Mr. Mortimer?
Mortimer,
Are you all right?
Mortimer, are you all right? Look, can't someone strike a match? Who's that laughing?
I'll have this in a minute. Henry, there were matches in my coat.
They won't light. There's a light on the landing, isn't there? I'll open the door. Now you can see a bit. What's that crouching over Mortimer?
Oh, don't be hysterical, man. There's nothing there.
Got it.
Thank God for the light at last.
I've been asleep. What's the matter with everybody? What is it?
My God. Look at Mortimer.
Turn him over. Quick.
Ah,
He hasn't got a face!
Oh,
no.
oh God.
Oh, no. No! What the devil? No!
No face.
Complete.
No,
with
no
applause.
face.
Nope. Face off.
No
Ah,
face.
such
Very,
fun.
very
Such-
no sleep style story.
Yes.
Grin was too big and his face was not existent.
What happens to you skeptics?
Yep.
As Mary
says,
Sybil
if
has
you
just
can't
put in
face
the
truth-
comments, couldn't face the truth, yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, didn't.
they did it.
Because they stole my ace.
Yes.
Mm. That's what happens.
In the face.
Just a poor loser.
He has no ace. He has no ace. Sorry.
I really needed to review the rules of the card game before we started.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
just clueless as to what the rubber was.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going, well,
Yeah,
I
don't make me
understand.
Yeah, I should have changed it to snap or something.
Well, it was already like, just do a decent accent in front of the Brits. That was really 90%. 90% of my energy was like, don't make this painful
Terror.
for them. Oh no, how do you play bridge?
Just my message to David Ault right before this. Please don't disown me after this.
I'm sure that Alt and Brandon have a good story about a bathroom and the rubber too.
Hey!
yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
Dun-dun-dun.
don't embarrass the poor
What
boy.
happens on
Cheeky.
tour stays on tour.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
What is it?
Such fun.
What's the phrase? Finish the rubber? Is that what it was said? Light.
Oh,
Enough
yeah.
light to finish the
Yes,
rubber. That's
enough
just
light to finish the rubber. Yes.
Yeah,
charged,
that's
finish
so
the game.
worrying, isn't it?
Yeah.
charged with portent.
So no one here's played bridge.
That would be enough.
I used to
Of
play
course.
a little bit.
Oh,
I've played, yeah.
It's
like-
just
should
the
have
brothers,
thought.
David. Then
If only the game were saved, then I could have a little bit more investment.
Pretty good at Go
I want
Fish.
this redone with Go Fish. Yeah, Go Fish.
Happy families.
Just want to start betting some money.
Yeah.
Mortimer, do you have an ace?
Nice.
Why, yes, I do.
Stop playing the fool.
Yeah, lots of don't play the ass. That's another great line.
Yeah.
Don't play the ass, Henry. That's when you start slapping the cheeks like bongos. You're playing the ass.
Sure, Brandon has a plug-in for that.
Oh!
Oh,
Plug-in.
That's got to make its way into a story now.
With a butt plug-in? What? Come on.
Oh, come on.
Shout out to Oxballs.
Wow.
mhm.
Do we rate this for adults only?
It's the solstice. We have to behave. Come on now.
Oh, we have more
It's all
time.
downhill from here.
Well, that was fun. And yeah, I'm still amazed that was done on the radio almost 100 years ago.
Mm.
When
That's
did the
wild.
BBC radio start? Does any of you Brits know?
I have no idea.
And
I think that there was relatively recently was a 90th anniversary. So
Okay.
I say
And
relatively.
was it just the World Service then?
But I think
And
it
then
started,
it
it started off as the home service, I would have thought. And then
yeah,
it would have
yeah, that
got
makes
the
sense,
World
yeah.
Service. And then, yeah, as time went on into the 50s and 60s, that's when you got Radio 1, 2, and 3. Home service became Radio 4. So yeah, I would say it's. And I'm going to say late teens, early 20s.
Wow. So in the nascent days of BBC Radio.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you had to put a shilling in your radio to listen to it.
Along with the hand crank.
It's public service broadcasting. You don't need pennies for the radio. That's what the TV license is for.
Oh, right, that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
I remember trying to get TV set up when I was in college in England, and I got like a letter about a TV license, and I was just like, "What in the hell is this?" Like,
it's like so there's up here there's the license to kill, and then down here there's the TV license.
Yeah.
Which
So we don't
are
have
you a part of?
all of the NPR, PBS begging funding drive things.
MI6, NPR.
if I had to guess, the license to kill is probably cheaper than the TV license.
Yes, indeed. Well, that was great fun, and thanks to everyone in the comments, leaving lots of fun messages for us. Glad everyone enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'll say hello to Sydney as well. Sorry, I didn't say that at the beginning.
Sydney Ault.
Hello to everyone in the live chat and everyone that's going to watch in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just covering all your bases.
Yeah. Everyone that already watched in the past.
We love you all equally. There are no favorites.
Indeed.
And this is what life was like back in June of 2020.
Yes.
This is
To all of you.
Oh,
diary.
don't. Oh, no.
Going diary.
Indeed, yeah, that's right. These are little time capsules of
That's true.
life.
100 days in quarantine.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
What are we on in
Wow.
the UK? Do you know?
We've moved from level 4 to level 3.
Yeah, we have.
Which is why everything is opening
Whatever
up
that means.
and sports and whatnot, which is at level 1, but it's because people need to make money for the government.
So your phases are, you have a countdown
Yeah.
phase.
We have a
Yeah.
countdown, yes.
You guys
And
have
we are-
sports already?
Just to be contrary, we're going the other way.
Well, their phases are in Celsius. That's why. It's,
Oh, right.
And yes, we do have
Kilometers.
sports. We've got football, we've got horse racing, but that's because the health secretary is linked to horse racing. So, you know,
There's just
not,
no
not suggesting any kind of anything, any
no
foul
audience,
play.
though, I'm guessing.
Sorry?
No audience, though. No one in the stadium, but the
Just
It's
the
all
stuffed
piped
animals.
in,
the
piped
footy
in
boys.
audience.
All right.
Yeah.
Or
Piped in.
I saw somewhere where they put in
Heard about
cardware
that.
cutouts in the stadium just
I
to
did
make
hear
I've
the
heard
players
about
show
that. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Or
Hey.
stuffed
did-
animals.
I did hear
Yeah,
about them
I've seen the
typing
one with
in
stuffed
audience
animals.
sounds. That is the wildest thing.
to me, that there's nothing worse than like people doing, sort of non-audience stuff, and then they just pipe in sound effects. It's ridiculous. Why?
Zing!
Almost like you planned that.
Our adoring fans.
Mm-hmm. Our adoring fans.
I'd love to give a quick shout out to an organization run by some friends of mine. It's a website called Gamers with Jobs, and they're doing a live Twitch stream fundraiser right now to raise money for an organization called, it's their anti-racism fundraiser, and they're raising money for Color of Change and another group called I Need Diverse Games. So if anyone is curious and has somewhere else want to take your streaming path over to twitch.tv/gamerswithjobs, no spaces, and check out what they're doing. They're doing something cool today.
Very cool.
Very cool. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap up soon here, so you can plan to head over there for another live stream. Well, thank you, Graham, for mentioning that.
Yeah.
Sarah, any parting words?
Stay safe, stay sane. Thanks for being here, everybody. I have nothing
Indeed.
to advertise currently. You have enough ads in your life.
Right. Well, thank you for that. Erin, any parting words for our fans?
So the usual, stay safe. Just as Sarah said, wash your hands, wear your masks. Please wear your mask in public.
Indeed. Yes, very, very important. Mr. Boone, happy
Yes,
anniversary again.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, I was going to only advertise if you can get here within like an hour or so, you can have some of these ribs, but other than that, I don't really have much to offer. So, yeah,
There goes
stay
David.
safe. Stay safe out there, and Do your part. If you want to protest, just do it safely and keep your mask on. We're not out of the woods yet.
Protest those ribs.
Yeah. I don't think anyone would stand against these things. Come on now.
What your wife wants, everybody showing up at your door for
Oh,
your
gosh.
anniversary.
Indeed.
Impromptu party.
Yeah.
Mr. Ault, any final words?
As usual, just keep supporting the arts. Thank you very much for joining in. Keep using your brain. And keep using your brain is as simple as that.
Is it though? Is it?
I know.
We're trying.
They say it's a terrible thing to waste a brain. That was an advertising campaign way back in the 80s, I think, about, was it drugs or something? A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yep.
Brain is such a terrible thing to it, especially when you've cooked it with a nice sort of dash of olive oil and some pepper.
Chianti.
Yeah, those fava beans.
And those people on a diet would say a waste is a terrible thing to mind.
Oh.
Terrible.
For everybody.
Oh, wow.
What
Amazing.
a terrible segue into leaving the last word for our special guest, Mr. Andy Cresswell.
Oh, hello. And thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. And to echo the others, stay safe.
Well, and happy pre-Father's Day to you and everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
that's
Thank you
true.
very much. Yeah. Can't wait to see what's planned for tomorrow. Well, I think I've seen it in the fridge, to be honest. So yeah, looking forward to that.
It is weird that Father's Day syncs up for US and UK, but Mother's Day doesn't.
Yes.
It's very odd.
No, because Mother's Day is the fourth Sunday of Lent for us, and it's just some random time in April or May for you guys.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
March or April, fight for custody over it.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Nice.
Indeed.
But yeah, happy solstice, everyone, and
Happy solstice.
enjoy the beginning of summer.
Indeed. So on that note, thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time for our next live stream. So stay safe and have a good summer. Bye everybody.
Bye.